For 8 years, Maya Brooks was the secret wife of billionaire Julian Bellamy, hidden from the world, erased from his legacy. But when Julian lay on his deathbed, everything changed. What began as a forbidden love exploded into a battle for truth, dignity, and the future of their daughter. Lies unravel, family turns ruthless, and one woman must fight the empire that tried to erase her existence. Who was she to him? And why did he leave her everything? Where are you watching from? Drop your city below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that will shake your heart and stir your soul. The room pulsed with a suffocating stillness, broken only by the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor. Julian Bellamy, once the commanding force behind one of America's most powerful business empires, lay fragile and fading in the master bedroom of Bellamy Manor, now converted into a private hospital suite. The room, rich with mahogany and gold trim, was crowded with family draped in designer black. His brother Gregory stood stiff near the window, his sisters murmured quietly by the fireplace, and various nieces and nephews occupied the periphery, each expression carefully crafted somewhere between grief and calculation. No one noticed the woman in navy blue, sitting quietly in the corner, her presence ghost-like but unwavering. Maya Brooks had been there for nearly an hour. Unnoticed, or perhaps intentionally ignored. Her eyes, warm and steady, were fixed on Julian's face. As the family filed out of the room for a private consultation with the family doctor in the hallway, she rose silently and moved to his bedside. She took his hand. It was cool, the skin paper-thin. "I'm here," she whispered, brushing a lock of silver hair off his forehead. "I kept my promise." Julian's eyes fluttered open, unfocused at first. Then they locked on her, and for a moment his face transformed. "Maya," he breathed, the ghost of a smile tugging at his lips. "You came." "I wouldn't be anywhere else," she replied, tears catching in her throat. 8 years wasn't enough, Julian. I wanted more." His fingers, fragile but insistent, curled around hers. "I should have told them. I should have told the world about you, about Layla." The name of their daughter, unspoken for so long in these walls, lingered in the air like a secret begging to be set free. Maya leaned in, her tears falling onto his cheek. "We had our reasons, and I never regretted a single moment." The door creaked open behind her. Gregory Bellamy strode in, frowning at the unfamiliar figure by his brother's side. "Who are you?" he demanded, his tone edged with suspicion. "This is a family matter." Julian's voice, weakened but resolute, broke the tension. "Gregory, this is Maya. I'm an old friend." Maya added quickly, her gaze unwavering. Gregory's eyes narrowed. After a pause, he gave a curt nod. 5 minutes, he said sharply. "Then you need to leave. The family needs this time." When the door shut again, Julian turned to her. "Even now, you protect them." "No," she whispered, her fingers gently stroking his. "I'm protecting your peace. Chaos won't help you now." His breathing grew more labored. "The letter in the desk? Richard has the rest." "I know," she said softly. "He told me everything's in place." Julian's eyes fluttered. "Promise me," he rasped, "you'll stay for the reading. Face them. They need to know the truth." Maya hesitated. She had spent years in the shadows, hiding their love, their child, their life. But she nodded. "I promise." The family returned, murmurs fading into heavy silence as they re-entered. Eyes darted to Maya, some confused, others openly suspicious. She backed into the corner, resuming her silent vigil. The minutes crawled by. Julian's breaths became jagged, shallow. The doctor shook his head, subtly, almost sadly. No one noticed the way Maya's hands trembled. No one saw the way she bit her lip to keep from crying out. They had no idea that the woman they ignored was his wife, that the man slipping away had already chosen her. And as Julian exhaled for the final time, Maya slipped from the room without a word. Outside in the hallway, she pressed a hand to her mouth, stifling a sob. She had promised to stay. But for now, she needed a moment. To grieve not just the man she loved, but the life they had built together. Quietly, fearfully, completely. It had started in the glittering ballroom of the Langford Hotel, beneath a sea of chandeliers that scattered light like champagne. Maya Brooks had been everywhere at once that night, clipboard in hand, headset in her ear, coordinating the charity gala she'd spent 6 months planning. It was for the Children's Wellness Foundation, and the guest list sparkled with politicians, celebrities, and legacy families. She was double-checking the floral arrangements when a voice behind her said, Is there somewhere quiet I could make a call? She turned and froze. The man standing before her was Julian Bellamy. She recognized him instantly, not from the glossy magazines or Forbes lists, but from the quiet intensity in his eyes. He wasn't just powerful, he was magnetic. "Of course, Mr. Bellamy," she said smoothly, regaining her composure. "The library's down the corridor, second door on the left." "You know who I am," he said, amused. "It's my job to know every guest," she replied with a polite smile. "And you are?" "Maya Brooks, event director." Julian tilted his head. "Then I should be thanking you. This is exceptional." Before she could respond, he added, "Have dinner with me tomorrow." She blinked. "I'm sorry?" "You heard me." She studied him. Everything about him screamed curated perfection. Tailored tucks, salt and pepper hair, confidence carved into every movement. But there was something else too, an earnestness that didn't match the arrogance she expected. "I don't date clients," she said. "The event ends at midnight. By tomorrow, I'm just a man asking for your time." She shouldn't have said yes, but she did. Dinner turned into breakfast, breakfast into weekends. Within a month, they were inseparable. Maya discovered a side of Julian no one else seemed to see. Behind the fortress of his public image was a man who loved jazz records, who cooked when he was stressed, who read poetry late at night and quoted Baldwin. He was curious about everything she believed and fascinated by the way she built her business from scratch. He never once asked her to shrink herself. Instead, he admired the fire in her. But reality was never far behind. Late one evening, as they lay tangled in his penthouse bed, Julian said, "There's something I have to explain. The Bellamy name. It's not just a name, it's a brand. My father built this empire with iron expectations, and I've lived under them all my life." She rolled over to look at him. "Are you saying your family wouldn't approve of me?" He reached out, tracing her cheek with a featherlight touch. "They wouldn't approve of anyone who challenged their image of me. But yes, because you're black, and because you're not from their world, you don't play by their rules. And that's a problem? For them? Absolutely." 3 months later, he proposed, not with a diamond, but with an emerald ring, her favorite. They stood on a deserted beach in Barbados, just the two of them and an officiant, barefoot and trembling. "I want to marry you," he said, "but I need to ask something hard. Can we keep it private, just us, for now?" She flinched. "You want to hide me?" "No," he said urgently. "I want to protect us. My family, they destroy what they can't control. I can't lose you to that." She thought about it for days. In the end, she said yes, but with one condition. 5 years. That's all I can give you in the shadows. After that, we go public." He agreed without hesitation. They built a life in secret. Penthouse in the city, cottage by the sea, a world between them where no one else could intrude. It was beautiful. It was safe. And for a time, it was enough. Until Layla came into their lives. Until the ticking clock of those 5 years grew louder with every passing season. Until love wasn't just about them anymore. It was about who they were willing to be for their daughter. The news came on a gray Tuesday morning, the kind that seemed made for bad things. Julian had just come back from the city, his skin paler than usual, his steps a little slower. Maya was in the kitchen, coaxing Layla to finish her cereal when he walked in, and the look on his face froze her mid-sentence. "Daddy," Layla squealed, running into his arms, her sticky fingers leaving syrup prints on his shirt. He picked her up, held her tighter and longer than usual, his eyes locked on Maya over the child's shoulder. She saw it before he spoke. The dread, the pain, the inevitability. Once Layla was settled with her crayons and Maya had poured coffee into 2 mugs with hands that trembled slightly, he told her. "It's cancer," Julian said quietly. "Pancreatic, stage 3. Aggressive." The world dropped out from under her. She went into crisis mode, asking about treatment, clinical trials, surgery, anything. He had already seen specialists. Chemotherapy was starting next week. They would fight. They would have to fight. But even as she said the words, Maya saw the look in his eyes, acceptance, and something else. Urgency. "We have to tell them," she said, days later after another sleepless night beside him. "Your family. About us, about Layla." He hesitated. "Now? While everything's falling apart?" "Exactly because everything's falling apart." He ran a tired hand through his hair. "Gregory's already circling like a vulture. If I show even the slightest vulnerability, He'll move to take over the company, and if he finds out about you and Layla, he will find out, she interrupted, whether it's now or after you're gone. And if it's after, I'll be alone. She'll be alone. I don't want to fight that war without you. Silence stretched between them until he finally nodded. You're right. I'll start preparing them, carefully. But before he could, his condition deteriorated. The chemotherapy left him nauseated, weak, and in constant pain. Maya drove him to and from treatments, held his head when he vomited, whispered encouragement when the weight of it all threatened to crush him. Still, they found moments. Quiet dinners on the deck, bedtime stories with Layla, laughter that came in rare but cherished bursts. Julian tried to be present, but the time he could spend at the beach house grew shorter. His responsibilities in the city, merger negotiations, his father's fragile health, Gregory's growing power play, pulled him farther away. Layla's third birthday came and went without him. He called from a hotel room, apologizing, his voice thick with regret. The board meeting ran late. Then Dad had a health scare. She won't remember, Maya said, trying to keep the bitterness from her voice. But I will. That night, he showed up unannounced. He stayed only an hour, but it was enough. He watched Layla sleep, held Maya close and whispered, 3 more months. After that, I'll step back from the company. I've already started the process. She wanted to believe him. But 3 months passed, then 4. The merger hit delays. His father had another stroke. Gregory made his move to seize more control. And then came the worst blow. Julian missed their anniversary. When he finally called, it was midnight. Marcus had me followed, he confessed. He suspects. He's watching everything. Maya's blood ran cold. What if he finds out? Then everything we've built could be destroyed. Or maybe it's time we stop hiding and let them try. I need more time, he begged. Just until I secure your future, Layla's future. So she waited, until the diagnosis changed, until the doctor stopped saying months and started saying weeks. And when Julian finally called from the hospital, his voice a whisper, he said, I need to see you, both of you. I can't die without holding you one more time. That's when Maya knew the time had come, not for waiting, not for planning, but for truth, for war if necessary. Because hiding had kept them safe for years. But now, it was silence that would bury them. The gates of Bellamy Manor creaked open with a groan that felt oddly ceremonial, like the opening act of a play Maya had long dreaded. The drive leading to the mansion twisted through rows of ancient oaks, their branches arched like silent sentinels, watching her return to the house that had never welcomed her. In the back seat, 4-year-old Layla slept soundly, clutching her worn stuffed rabbit. Maya's fingers trembled on the wheel. Her heart pounded as if it knew something her mind refused to accept, that this might be the last time Layla would see her father alive. Julian's voice from the night before echoed in her head. I need to see you, both of you. I can't die without holding you one more time. The call had come through broken breaths, whispered from a hospital bed before he'd been moved home under hospice care. The doctors had stopped speaking in months. Now it was a matter of days. A butler greeted them at the door with a carefully masked expression. Mr. Bellamy is in the East Wing, he said. Please follow me. As Maya walked through the grand halls, she felt eyes watching her from shadowed doorways. Murmured voices fell silent as she passed. She held Layla's hand tightly, steadying them both. The walk felt endless. They reached the bedroom. A nurse opened the door, surprised at their arrival. But from inside, Julian's faint voice rasped, Let them in, please. The room was dim, curtains drawn against the sun. Medical machines beeped steadily beside the massive bed, where Julian lay, nearly unrecognizable. His once commanding presence had withered into a gaunt frame, skin yellowed by the spread of cancer. But when his eyes opened and saw them, they shimmered with something brighter than pain. You came, he whispered. Maya bent over him and kissed his forehead. Of course we did. Layla hesitated near the door, her eyes wide. Daddy? She said in a small voice. Julian's expression softened. Come here, princess. Don't be scared. Maya helped her onto the bed, guiding her toward him. Layla reached out, her tiny fingers brushing his face. Does it hurt, Daddy? Not when you're here, he said, his voice slightly stronger. Layla pulled out crayon drawings from her backpack. I made these for you, Mommy said. They'd help you get better. They already have, Julian murmured, smiling as she spread the drawings across his blanket. For an hour, they existed in a fragile bubble. Julian asked about Layla's preschool stories, listened to her talk about her new favorite book, and told her, with shaking breath, that she was his greatest joy. Maya sat quietly, memorizing every blink, every smile. She didn't know how long they had, but she knew this time mattered more than any diamond or title ever could. The knock on the door shattered the moment. Gregory entered, flanked by their family's attorney. He froze when he saw Maya and Layla. "Andrew, we need to discuss some paperwork," Gregory said, his tone clipped. Julian didn't even flinch. "This is Maya," he said clearly. "And this is Layla, my wife, my daughter." Gregory's jaw dropped. "What? You heard me," Julian replied. The air in the room thinned. The attorney shifted uncomfortably. "Perhaps this conversation should wait." "No," Julian said, his voice thin but sharp. "I'm done hiding." Gregory's face turned red. "This is insane. You can't just spring this on us." "I won't leave this world with lies," Julian said, turning his gaze to Maya. "Not anymore." The nurse returned, insisting he rest. But when she asked Maya to leave, Julian gripped her hand with surprising strength. "Stay," he whispered. "Please. I don't want to be alone." She looked at Layla, who had fallen asleep in the chair with a picture clutched to her chest. Maya nodded. "We'll stay. As long as you need us." And for the first time in years, she didn't feel like a shadow. She felt like family. Dawn broke quietly over Bellamy Manor, the sky blushing with pale orange as the household stirred with whispers and tension. Maya had spent the night in a chair beside Julian's bed, her hand wrapped gently around his. His breathing had grown shallower, his skin cooler. Layla was still asleep on the daybed, tucked into the corner, clutching her stuffed rabbit and the crayon drawing she had made for her father the night before. A soft knock interrupted the stillness. The door opened to reveal Emma, Julian's niece, holding a tray of tea and toast. She entered hesitantly, offering Maya a kind smile. "I thought you might need something to eat," she said. Maya blinked, surprised but grateful. "Thank you." Emma set the tray down and sat beside her uncle. "He loved you," she said quietly. "I've never seen him look at anyone the way he looked at you yesterday." Maya swallowed the lump rising in her throat. "He tried to protect us, even when it meant hiding." Emma reached for Julian's hand. He shouldn't have had to choose. A low moan escaped from the bed. Julian stirred, eyes fluttering open. "Emma," he murmured, voice barely audible. "Being nice to my girls?" "I'm trying," she replied with a soft smile. "Someone in this family should be." Julian's eyes sought Maya's. "Water." She helped him sip gently from a glass. The nurse arrived shortly after, checked his vitals, and administered his morning medication with quiet efficiency. "The doctor will be here by 10, she said before stepping out. Not long after, the door burst open again. Gregory entered with a stern-faced man in a navy suit. "Julian," he announced, "this is Dr. Reinhardt. He's here to evaluate your mental capacity." Julian blinked slowly. "Are you serious?" "It's for your protection," Gregory replied. "You've been making erratic decisions. We just need to ensure." "I'm dying, not delusional," Julian snapped, surprising everyone with the strength in his voice. "And I know exactly what I'm doing." Maya's jaw clenched, but Julian squeezed her hand. "Let him ask," he said quietly. "Let's put this to rest." The next 20 minutes passed in a tense blur. Dr. Reinhardt asked a series of leading questions, attempting to trip Julian up. Date, time, names, current events, financial knowledge. Despite his failing body, Julian's mind remained sharp. He answered clearly, calmly, and even threw in a whip about the merger timeline Gregory had so desperately tried to fast-track. When the doctor finally closed his notepad and excused himself, Gregory followed him out without a word. Emma lingered. "They won't stop," she said gently. "But I think you're winning hearts, slowly." The rest of the day unfolded in waves. Nurses came and went. Family members poked their heads in and left just as quickly, unable to meet Maya's gaze. Julian drifted in and out of consciousness, sometimes calling for Maya, sometimes for Layla. By evening, the hospice doctor returned with a grim face and took Maya aside. "His body is shutting down," she said. "Hours, not days. If there's anything left unsaid, now's the time." Maya returned to Julian's side, her heart heavy. She leaned close and whispered, "Do you remember our first date?" His lips curled into the ghost of a smile. "You wore red, you hated the food, said you'd rather have a burger. And that's when you fell for me." "Hopelessly." She stroked his cheek. I'm sorry we didn't get more time. No regrets, he murmured. Except one. I won't see her grow up. I won't grow old with you. Tears slid down her face. I'll make sure she knows you, every day, and she'll know how much you loved her. Promise me, he whispered. Don't let them erase us. Don't let them rewrite our story. I promise. Outside, the family gathered again. Gregory returned, flanked by Elizabeth and Thomas. The tension was immediate. We need answers, Elizabeth said, her tone sharp. You expect us to accept this woman and child without proof? Julian pushed himself up, strength rising from somewhere deep. This woman is my wife, that child is my daughter, and the rest of what you need to know is in my will. His voice faded as he slumped back against the pillows. The nurse rushed in again, ushering everyone out except Maya and Layla. As the room emptied, Julian whispered, Bring her. Maya brought Layla to the bed. Are you going to heaven, Daddy? She asked. He nodded. I'll be the brightest star in the sky. I'll always be watching. Layla nestled against him as Maya held them both, waiting for goodbye. Sometimes, love isn't loud. It's not always adorned in grand gestures or shouted from rooftops. Sometimes it lives quietly, in whispered promises, hidden letters, and the unwavering strength of a woman who refuses to let the world erase her truth. Maya and Julian's story teaches us that secrecy might shield love from judgment, but it can also rob it of its rightful place in the light. True love is not just about protection, it's about recognition. It's about standing in the storm, hand in hand, and saying this is who we are, even when the world resists. Julian spent years hiding the most meaningful part of his life, and in the end, he realized that peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from courage. The courage to speak truth. The courage to love fully. The courage to fight, not just for yourself, but for the people who matter most. And Maya, she is proof that dignity doesn't come from a name or wealth or legacy. It comes from knowing your worth and defending it. It comes from loving fiercely and standing tall when others try to cast shadows over your light. So if you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or underestimated, remember Maya. Remember Julian. And remember that no matter how long you've been kept in the background, it's never too late to claim your space in the story. Where are you tuning in from today? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another powerful story like this one. Your support helps bring these voices into the light.